Do you like drugs that like give your consciousness basically Pokemon level evolution? Um, this is it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to be ranking every book that I read in December to finish off our 2025 videos. I don't think I have any more of these. We'll see. I have two honorable mentions. These were rereads. I'm not going to put the rereads in like the actual countdown part of it. So, our first honorable mention that we have is The Fires of Heaven by Robert Jordan, book 5 of The Wheel of Time. The first time that I read this 10 years ago, I got to this far into the series and then I put it down. Now I am this far again, and I would very much like to continue. I have all the books. I don't want to have to start it a third time to finish it for the first time. I very quickly realized when I started to read this that I didn't remember basically anything from the actual story of this. I had a very few slivers of memories that I associated with this from my first reading, and I don't even know if I was thinking about the same book anymore. This is a lot more gut punchy. There's bigger gut punches in this than I remember. There's like more dramatic, emotional moments in this than I remembered previously. And it's much more pivotal to, it's like a big hinge point, it feels like, for a lot of the series. And I had completely forgotten about that. It's really good. The first 500 pages are basically slow as shit. I was starting to get a bit frustrated with how slow it was, and just like extemporaneous information, it felt like, for a while. But it was very good, and the last 300 pages of it kind of make up for everything. I'm very excited to move on to number 6. I might be reading that next month. The second honorable mention is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I read this book every year at Christmas. Typically, I try to aim for Christmas Day, but Christmas Eve might work. This year it happened on Christmas. It was just as glorious as ever. I don't think I really need to explain it to you like it's new. But Tiny Tim, he's still my favorite every time. Every time. And now for the actual proper list. We have 11 books this go around. Starting off the 11th ranked book here that I have. I'm sorry, manga people. It was a really good week. It was a really good month the previous few months. But the last book on our list this time, Look Back by Tatsuki Fujimoto. Now, this book here, what do I have to say? Now, this is not to say this was bad, because this was highly acclaimed and critically successful. I am not the audience for this. This is a manga about people who want to make manga art and their journey to getting there, and it's kind of just, it didn't capture me at all. Like, if you're someone who draws, this would probably land with you more than me. The art's good. The art is good, I will give it that. It didn't capture me whatsoever, so check it out. On to the top 10. My number 10 is The Hashish Films of Customs Officer Henry Rousseau and Tatiana Yukov Shuffles the Cards. Yukov? I'm still not sure. This is a little book of poetry that I read. It's very surreal, it's very hallucinatory. I like it for that. It's supposed to all be to come together for something. It never really grasped me a whole lot. It was nice to read while I was reading it. Most of the time, it was kind of enjoyable. It was pretty alright. What is this? Coming in at our number 9 spot, we have Buried Secrets, a true story of serial murder, true crime nonfiction about a murderous death cult in Mexico on the border with Texas. There's a lot of drug smuggling and murder and Palo Mayombe. It's a really interesting Santeria-esque offshoot. In previous videos, I've kind of referred to it as an airport book. It's something that's highly entertaining, constantly moving in like a thriller kind of way. It was good while I was reading it, but the second I finished it, I was kind of happy it's over and I was very ready to move on. Here at our number 8, I have A Short Stay in Hell. This is another novella. I don't have a copy of it here to show you. When people die, they end up at the bottom of this library, and it's like the Library of Babel? Tower of Babel? Library of Babel? So one of those things. Being in hell is not a permanent thing, it's more of a temporary thing because, and put big quotes on temporary, because the way that you get out is you find the one book in this apparently never-ending library that has your life story and how you got to here. But the problem is finding it, because every single combination of all the words are there. There is like a cap on how many pages it could be. I don't remember what it is. 140, 440. The premise of it was all super awesome. However, with it being so short, there wasn't any time to really give much of depth to things. So it's kind of like looking at a pretty piece of furniture, but you know it's built out of like styrofoam almost. And I would have really liked to see this as a full novel, be flushed out more. As it is good, it is enjoyable. I would really like to have seen more. Coming in at number 7 is Always Coming Home by Ursula K. Le Guin. Now, this is an anthology, anthropology leaning. It's a big anthropological study of like a futuristic California coast people. I say it's an anthology, but it's not just an anthology of short stories. There are entire, like, there's birth charts, there's seed charts, there's music, there's poems, there's plays, there's life stories. The life stories are my personal favorite part. The only real cohesive part of the story in this is a 3-part coming of age life biography story called Stone Telling. It is cut into 3 pieces throughout beginning, middle, end of everything else that's in here. I really, really, really like that. Pure, like, Le Guin, just goodness at its core. When I go back and read this, I might probably just read the stone telling parts, because everything else was at least a bit tedious. Coming in at our number 6, I have City of Thieves. I'm actually kind of surprised to put this over a Le Guin book. I'm going to use the term airport fiction again, and don't take this as like a mean way of saying it, but this is kind of like entry-level historical fiction, PG-13, with all the training wheels and all the brakes on. This is set in World War II in Russia, and it does go into some bad things are happening. However, it never really peaks too far beyond anything to go past what I would call like PG-13. It's extremely accessible. It is extremely readable. It is easy to read. It's got the pace of a thriller, which I don't really quite love, but it's a really good coming of age story. It's a really good buddies story. There's some genuinely funny moments in here. It's just, don't come into this looking for like a terribly serious read, because the entire thing is them going to try to find some eggs in the middle of winter in the snow. It's a fun read. Next up at number 5 on our list, Bone. Specifically, book 4, which is called The Dragon Slayer. Where I am at, I just read book 4 of 9 of Bone, The Dragon Slayer. Oh man, how do I even say this? Slapstick funniness. How do I say this without saying the same thing I've said every single other time? In this episode of Bone, people be scamming, people be stabbing people in the back. We're getting glimpses into like the underworld a little bit further than we have in the previous time. I understand that none of this makes sense if you haven't read Bone before, but it's excellent. It's kind of like my favorite thing in the world. I can't really do a great job at explaining this right now, especially being in the middle of the entire series, 600 pages into it. So look this up and buy yourself a copy and read this. It's excellent. It is my number 5. Coming in at my number 4 for December, I have Before They Are Hanged by Joe Abercrombie. This is the middle book of the First Law trilogy. I like this book a whole lot. I personally think it was a bit of a step down from the Blade itself, which is my favorite book in the series. People generally like this more than they like the Blade itself because this has more of a cohesive plot. While book 1 was, as I always say, getting the chess pieces on the board all arranged, this book is where they start to play the game and they start to move all of those around. It's more exciting than the first book. There's more action in this book. It's really good. It's really good. My number 3 book of December, Hogfather, one of my Christmas books by Terry Pratchett. I believe this is like my 8th or 9th or 10th journey into a Discworld book. I loved it. I really loved it. This one, the premise and the ideas and the concepts in it were better than the storyline itself. I didn't care all too much for the actual plot of this book. It was kind of just fine, like a 3.25 out of 5 kind of fine. It was fun. It was good. But the characters are excellent in this. That's why I come to the Death books. The death of mice is in here. Death is in here. The whole family dynamic. Everything about this is great. It's not quite what I was hoping for. What I was hoping for was more of a Nightmare Before Christmas via Terry Pratchett. But it's still really good. It's a really good book, and I can see myself reading it again, maybe like every other Christmas or so. So I will be rereading this, and I liked it a lot. My number 2 book of December, The Last Argument of Kings by Joe Abercrombie, the final book in the First Law trilogy. I definitely agree with the masses in saying that this is an improvement from the second book. However, I do not agree with the masses in saying that this is the best book in the series. I can see why people like it, and I respect that, and I get it, and I recognize that. However, I understand that my opinion is different. I like the slower book better. This is a great way to tie everything up. There's some of my favorite characters got very good endings and very bad endings sometimes, but this was a really good way to tie everything up and a very successful ending to the series. It really makes me want to continue, and it really makes me want to go back and reread everything again, just with the knowledge and the encouragement of the fact that the series was landed so well. I like this a lot. And my favorite book of December 2025, The Three Stigmata of Palmer Eldritch by Philip K. Dick. Do you like drugs? Do you like gods? Do you like drug gods? Do you like drugs that like give your consciousness basically Pokemon level evolution? Um, this is it. This is the 3rd Philip K. Dick book that I've read, and it is my favorite Philip K. Dick that I have read. The satire is biting. The absurdity is perfect. The body horror comes ever so randomly and ever so effectively, and it is horrifying, and it's perfect and excellent. This is an all-timer book, really. Like, this is an all-timer. I love this. I'm so excited that I've got like another 9 about another 9 or so PKD books to read through, because this is awesome. Go ahead and buy yourself a copy of this and thank me later. I think I'm probably one of the last people in the world to ever read a PKD book, but I loved everything about it. It's short. Pretty much all of the PKD books are very short. That's one thing that I love about them. They're exactly how long they need to be. There's no fat on them. The modern reader in me wishes there was a bit more, but I fear it would detract if I actually got that. So they're perfect just the way that they are. Easily. This was easily my favorite book of the month. Let me know what you guys are reading down in the comments. Cheers.